We just got a brand new look at Superman in this little rivalry TV spot, and I gotta say, I wish I was as passionate about anything in my life as Lex is towards hating Superman's guts.
What you're looking at is the most powerful being on planet Earth.
I will not accept that.
Look at this. Look at that unhealthy amount of rage. That is just pure, unadulterated malice. You know what? I'm here for it. I respect that. I respect his commitment to the bit. I feel like at a certain point, Lex has got to realize, hey, I might be wrong about this Superman guy, but I'm in too deep now to stop hating him. Hey guys, just a really quick one today. I really just wanted to jump on for a couple of minutes and talk about my thoughts towards Superman. Now, I haven't really spoken much about it in the past at all, but this is a film I'm incredibly excited for, and this little TV spot has kind of just really dialed up the excitement for me. I know we've had two absolutely banging trailers so far, but something about just seeing Lex be absolutely fuming towards Superman's like just literal existence, which I know that's just his character. That's who he is. He just despises Superman. I know that's like his one character trait. But there was just something about that, and the way the score in this little snippet swells as well is just, I don't know, it's just really ignited this fire in me of excitement towards this film. Now, I know typically my channel is predominantly about Batman, but I didn't want to pass up the opportunity to actually talk about Superman and what really excites me about this film, but just genuinely Superman as a character. You know, I'm a massive DC fan, obviously. Predominantly Batman is, you know, kind of the main MO of my channel. But I have been a bit of a kind of not undercover Superman fan, but he's just not a superhero that I'm as vocal about in my adoration of. But there is very much still this heartfelt belief in what the character stands for. And also I believe this film can be really important in our media, in our kind of pop culture obsessed world. I think this is kind of what the world needs right now. And look, don't get me wrong, I adore Zack Snyder's version of Superman and Henry Cavill. It was just a different thing. The story just didn't land, it didn't connect with as many people as I think Zack would have liked it to. And you know, that's a whole separate thing. I don't want to get into that. I resonate with the themes of Superman even more so than that of Batman, because as much as I feel like I relate to the Batman in the sense of, and I think a lot of us do, in that kind of trying to overcome the worst of our fears and our traumas to, you know, become something better, something more, something worthwhile for the world around us and the people around us, and I very much think that's what Batman represents. I believe that on the flip side of that, Superman is very much just the truest essence, I think, of doing good for goodness sake, and I think we get a little bit of an idea of that in that first, or that second trailer that we got, where he's just purely saying, hey look, I want to do this because it's the right thing, not for any other purpose. There was nothing to it, it's just me.
You seemingly acting as a representative of the United States.
I wasn't representing anybody except for me and doing good.
Based on what I've heard about the film so far and how we've got, obviously there are superheroes already established in the world and that Superman's kind of coming in and challenging the status quo a bit. I really like that because I think it's quite like in this day and age of superhero films and remakes and all this, we really don't need origin stories, I feel, anymore. So having Superman come into a world with heroes that are already established and active, I think is really interesting. I think I really like this idea because clearly they've been commercialized and it's very much like, oh, you're acting for the government, you can only do this here, there, or whatever, or corporations or entities or whatever. Like you've got Maxwell Lord kind of stuff. It's the very commercialized aspect of superheroes, and it's like, oh, you can only act here, and when you act here, you've got to think about the implications of that and how it's going to look. And Superman just really does not give a flying shit about any of that, which is, I think that's just the truest, most honorable, heroic thing possible. But I believe that's kind of what the world, at least what I feel like this film is going to show. It's going to show why acting just purely out of the goodness of yourself is going to really challenge all of these heroes that have fallen into this kind of mindset of, oh, we can only act here and there for these reasons and only if it's signed off on by a committee. It's kind of a little bit reminiscent of the whole Sokovia Accords, Civil War, whatever. Sort of. It kind of makes me remember a little bit back to that. I don't know whether the world necessarily is going to be divided on him or more so it's just going to be Lex manufacturing absolute hate for him. Because from what I've seen so far, I mean, there are some scenes there of people being like, you know, what do you do, man? But especially in the most recent trailers, I've seen a lot of where it seems like the general public is much more on Superman's side. Like this scene here is really good. I adore this. It's just some random guy just going down to be like, bro, you okay? It feels human. it feels, and you know, Superman being this godlike character, he can pull himself out of that hole, but there's just this kind of genuineness to just like moments like that. And regardless of how you feel about James Gunn and his filmmaking, he's, you know, undoubtedly delivered hit after hit after hit with his superhero outings with Guardians of the Galaxy. And also the Suicide Squad as well, which I surprisingly enjoyed. I only watched that on a whim and was like, this is actually really impressive. So I have a lot of faith in James to be able to deliver. And from what I've seen so far, I think it is going to be something really, really special. On a personal note, I know it sounds cliche because it is Superman, but there is just a sense of hope in me and excitement that this film is just going to revitalize my love both for the superhero genre as a whole. And, you know, I know that sounds a little bit ironic because I'm so clearly a massive Batman fan, but in my mind, I feel like Batman almost exists in his own space. He's very much a very isolated, singular hero. And of course, I feel like we are potentially going to see a different, you know, version of him coming together in more of a team aspect once he is introduced in the DCU here. But for the purposes of, you know, superheroes as a whole and like the quintessential, you know, superhero, Superman is that hero. And I think it's going to just, I don't know, everything I've seen so far is just making me want to hope again. It's making me want to have joy in life because I don't know about you guys, but you know, life gets a little bit kind of stale sometimes and it's like, why are we doing all this? What's the point? I know that sounds depressing and, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm fine, but I think it's films like this and film in general and media and all the things that we consume, they play such a huge part in developing us as individuals and how we see the world and how we interpret the events around us. And I think a film like Superman potentially, it's just making me want to get excited about life again and the joys of believing in something bigger than ourselves, I suppose. And this might be getting a little bit, you know, airy-fairy and very kind of, and devolving into a very poorly strung philosophical lesson of some sort. I'm no Plato or Aristotle or whatever. When I get excited about stuff, I want to talk about it and I want to express myself as poorly as that can kind of tumble out of my mouth. Man, I probably haven't been this excited about a film since The Batman. It's exciting to me to be able to view the world through the lens of these kind of larger than life characters because a lot of decisions and our actions, themes, moral codes, all of that is very applicable to our world around us. Look, I know this is getting more and more like just incoherent babbling, but this is something I'm really excited for and I definitely want to do a more thorough breakdown once the film comes out. I'll do a proper review with like proper, more thought out words and stuff. This is absolutely the most worthless kind of set, not worthless, but you know, I'm just rambling. I'm rambling into a camera. I'm literally just about to go to the gym and then I saw the little teaser and was like, nah, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. Maybe this will resonate with someone out there. I don't know, but it's making me want to hope again. I feel like I lost a little bit of that in life recently, but thank you for sitting here and listening to the ramblings of a madman. I've got some more cool stuff coming up next week, a bit of a Matt Murdock kind of photo shoot behind the scenes breakdown. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, until next time, guys, peace out.